Learning communities are a great vehicle for the transformative changes that we're talking about in creating new education policy in this community.
Today we're here to celebrate that continued success at Cleveland State. We're here to learn.
If colleges admit these students, we have the obligation to support them in ways that will lead to their success. And so we turn to the untapped potential of learning communities. Learning communities support all the students who arrive at our doors and build connections so those students can be successful in spite of and because of the diversity of their backgrounds and the needs that those students bring with them.
I've been doing learning communities before learning communities.
We'll call it learning communities, right?
Okay, because it was effective.
If we believe that learning communities make significant contribution to student engagement, which in turn leads to student success, as demonstrated by student persistence, retention, graduation, those are the things that people are going to hold us accountable for, then we need to collect the evidence that proves that and pass that on to campus leaders so that they can pass it on to the legislature so that they can make good decisions about funding our institutions to do the things that we know work.
Even our lowest income kids are more likely to go to college. If we look at the range of their peer institutions, there's a significant difference even though they have similar students. Something that is actually being enacted and put in front of the students actually makes a difference here. Number one, there's a huge private return. And so in this huge private return, if you just look at the high school diploma versus the bachelor's degree, significant change in income. Coaching is more trying to figure out with the student what are the barriers the students face and really individualize the types of instruction.
Coaching is not tutoring. There's no grade involved.
You could say it's advising, but it's a little bit more proximate. One, it helps you build study skills. There's a heavy emphasis on who's actually doing the coaching. I was actually able to track students to graduation, and in those three there was actually a 12% increase in graduation. Again, they only received help their first year. Small pushes could lead to large changes. And where it really started was this word, and I'm going to talk a lot about it for the next 15 minutes, what is the default?
When that student looks at us and say, okay, so how do I sign up?
And they will sign up right there and we walk them down to registration.
Lecture-free teaching, which I'm sure the students and the rest of us are very interested to learn more about. So welcome.
I want you to sit at one of these tables. If this were a human nutrition class, you've already been introduced to the 5 major categories of human nutrition. And I want you to reach in and each of you take a sock. This is how I have them form their learning teams. We've got the pink ones that are the X chromosomes and the blue ones that are the Y. Put all 3 of them down. The key is to have as few students standing back and passively watching as possible.
This was a really excellent way to learn how to learn and also how to improve our own dynamics in teaching.
You can throw stuff at people, they might catch it, but they rarely use it. If they talk about it, process it, explain how they're going to apply, it becomes part of their behavior.
We have to compete with China and India rather than just cities competing with each other.
You want to whet the appetites of your learners.
Will the technology allow me to more effectively achieve some strategic learning objective? That's the question to ask. Am I going to pick up this piece of chalk or this marker right now? If so, why? What's going to help me with?
It took me a while to figure out it's not always the best thing to try what is the latest technology or what is the new technology.
Engaged learning is really the gateway to desired outcomes in college. So I believe it, and obviously you've trademarked it, so you must believe it.
The catchphrase at Cleveland State, you know, the city is our campus.
Yeah, at an urban campus that claims the city is your campus and is recognizing that students come here with a very strong career orientation. How are you exploiting that?
And extending the conversation of the entire greater Cleveland community as our campus is shared from Dr. Nair as well, that the world is our family.
That is something, you know, the learning community was able to break, and otherwise we got our own little world and we sit in our own room.
50-minute block.
And College Urban Affairs doesn't want to talk to the social work faculty or, you know, vice versa. Or, so what we are looking at is, you know, we need to create more platform where the learning for the student takes place beyond, you know, their own specialization.
Yes.
One of the benefits that we found in the learning communities, that cross-disciplinary conversation usually allows us to bubble up with ideas that would not have been considered if somebody else from a different perspective had not been at the table. So yeah, I think it can work both ways.
In their interactive instructional teams, as they discuss their syllabi, their teaching approaches, these discussions have always come, some of these points here, because they talk about how to make students actually get engaged more.
We should, as educators, be looking for every opportunity to get in students' way and actively offer advice, suggestions, opportunities for students.
So what we've done is create a content management system using this software.
This is a study abroad program that I offer in France every 2 years.
Carbon-14 is created in the atmosphere when nitrogen-14 is bombarded by cosmic rays in a process called solar conversion.
Learning communities are a very good feeder program for the McNair Scholars Program.
They often come back and say, wow, that was a wonderful experience. I got to work with these older adults, I got to experience that. It's something that I've never had a chance or an opportunity to do before.
In our hearts and minds, we believe that education is more than just preparation for the workforce.